All right, good evening, everyone. The time is 5:30, and this is the Curriculum Committee meeting of the San Benito CISD Board of Trustees. Today is Tuesday, May 9th, and I call this meeting to order. We begin with item 1.2, public comment. Let me find the public comment thing. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the public comment portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience should not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presiding officer. At a board meeting, the board shall hear all persons who desire to make comments to the board. A person who wishes to participate in this portion of the meeting shall sign up with presiding officer or designate before the meeting begins and shall indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. For each topic, a speaker shall be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to make comments. If more than 10 speakers are signed up to speak on the same topic, all additional speakers on that topic shall be limited to 2 minutes. A person who needs to address the board through a translator shall be given 6 minutes to make his or her presentation. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject. That said, our first speaker is Mary Maney. Ms. Maney, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. President, Superintendent Savion, and board members and distinguished guests. On the excuse me, on the public comments, one of the first things I would like to ask about is on BED. Just a little bit of clarification and reading the rules on it. You are talking about limiting the speaking time, which is not a problem. But every time, especially when we're talking in committee meetings where we've got 4 back-to-back, I know we're using Robert's Rules of Order. In each meeting, it is saying public comments per meeting. So are we going to need to distinguish that we want to talk at this one or that one, or is it all going to be at the beginning? So again, that's just a slight clarification for anybody that is actually interested in speaking for these. I had another question coming up because on your special board meeting, you are talking about looking at the contracts and all that. Are we looking at the possibility of waivers for teachers this year or in an upcoming year? Just a question that has been asked by several people, and I figured I would put it on the list of what I was doing. Again, for my thanks section, which I always like to do, I really can't say enough. We lost at the high school Julie Rangal to the payroll department. She is sorely missed. We feel very sorry for ourselves, and I hope you truly appreciate everything she's giving and her capabilities here at the board office because we miss her. Okay, I also would like to make a big shout out to our security department. They have been extremely helpful again in stopping some incidents that were starting to happen, keeping them from developing into bigger issues, taking proactive steps to make it easier with this additional security required to get in and out of the buildings. You know, they're putting in a lot of public goodwill with the students as well as parents and all that, and it's just they really do need some recognition on the fact that they're doing that. And your finance department here at the board is extremely helpful. They have a secretary who listens patiently and then diverts people to the people they need to go to. They will email you back with suggestions on better ways to handle something. It's, you know, knowing the situation we're in and what we're trying to handle at the high school comes in extremely handy, and you know it's very reassuring to have them. Also would like to make a really big shout out to our CTE department as well as the board on this one. I have a lot of students who are in the medical classes where they're actually doing these practicums out at the hospital, and they're raving about their different assignments that they're doing and the people that they're working with, and the hospitals, the way the people there are treating them, and stopping and showing them some of the things that are going on. I don't think it's clearly to anybody who hasn't had or has lacked a practicum in a field that they want to do, just how much our CTE department and the board has made it easier on our kids to decide that this is the area I need to go into. This is what I really am interested in. And also major shout out to our culinary group. They are providing a good portion of the teacher appreciation foods that the teachers are and staff are enjoying. And we have a great group that's just stepping up to help promote San Benito into the community area too. So it's one of these that, again, big shout out to them. Thank you for supporting what they're trying to do and how they're trying to expand it. Because without that additional support, it makes it more of an uphill battle trying to reach the kids, go into the areas they want. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Maney. Our next speaker is Adán Oseguera. Mr. Oseguera, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Board, Mr. President, Superintendent Cervellon. Thank you for this time and opportunity to speak. I wanted to talk about BED Local. This is the policy in regards to public comments. I listened to the discussion from the previous meeting. It provided some clarification, but again, I think it's very important that public comment is accessible. I'm not sure why we have the caveat in there for special meetings and all other meetings for comment to be restricted to only agenda items. I think in the interest of the public, it would be great if that wasn't there. If all meetings it said whatever topic, it doesn't have to be an agenda item. And again, I believe at the previous discussion, it was clarified what is meant by regular meeting. And I think it was said that these committee meetings are considered regular meetings. If that was written into the policy somehow defined in there, that would be great. I could see a future circumstance where we could point to the policy and it says regular meeting and we're referring to the meeting that says regular meeting, right? So just if that could be clarified within the policy, I think it would make it top notch. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oseguera.
I call this meeting to order of the Curriculum Committee meeting. It's May the 9th at 5:38 p.m. Item 2.1, presentation by Communities and Schools, quarterly reports, presentation by Eva Perez, Executive Director of Communities and Schools.
And just for clarification purposes, Mr. Medrano, the meeting was already called to order, so I apologize for that,
Okay,
but you just continue with the curriculum agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Moreno and Ms. Cervellon. My name is Eva Perez for the new board members. I'm the Executive Director for Communities and Schools of Cameron County. And with me tonight, I have my Assistant Executive Director, Ms. Carla Montegano, and Irma Fernandez, and she is our data coordinator. So the reports that you have in front of you are done by Ms. Fernandez. And do you have any questions on any of these reports? These are your dropout reports. These are the numbers that each of your campuses here in San Benito. And is there any questions on any of these reports of any of the schools? Nope. Okay. The second part is the services that we provide. This is a list of the reports of all the services that we provide. Any questions on that report? No? Okay, thank you. The last part is the highlights, and this is what we have on the let's see, go ahead and handle it. So what we want to highlight, these reports have been taken from September 22nd to just March of 2023. And so what we did differently, and we wanted to share with the board and the board members what CIS is doing aside from all the academics and behavior and attendance that we do. We also try to give our students things that they that they are not able to. And so this year, in November, we took some students from La Paloma, and we took them up. It was through the STEMS program, and we took our psych coordinator, Ms. Nelda Gonzalez from La Paloma, and we had 20 students that were taken up to Gardner State. And so on this, go ahead and change it. So on your package, you've got some of the students that are engaging in some of the activities. And so we just wanted to share that our kids that we took up, they went on a charter bus, and this didn't cost anything to the students. It was a grant that Communities in Schools has written through the Texas Park Wildlife, and so everything was provided, everything was free, to include the meals and everything. And so we had 20 students, we had 3 parents, and we had our staff on site, and they were very fortunate to be able to experience hands-on experience in the different parks that they went. And so just wanted to let you know that the kids really enjoyed it. The parents were amazed at the experience that their kids were being exposed to. Any questions on that? No? Another thing that we did is we teamed up with our Walmart here in San Benito. And so we were able to distribute some toys to 6 schools, 3 elementaries and 3 middle schools. And we wanted to shout out to Mr. Victor Gonzalez, which is the store manager here at Walmart. And he went ahead and himself and his staff went to each of these campuses, and he gave out toys to selected students that our site coordinators had addressed as being the ones to adapt to the toys. And so we were very fortunate that we were able to provide those campuses and those students so that they could receive those toys. And then we also participated in the San Benito Christmas Parade, and we use these activities as incentives to our kids because we want them to be part of our CIS program. And so our program is a dropout prevention program. And so one way that we motivate our kids to do good is by letting them know, if you improve in your attendance, we can go ahead. We'll have the parade. We have different activities that you can be selected. And we try to be fair about it by putting the selection of students in a bowl and just pulling out their name. Whoever gets picked, those are the ones that get to participate. And we try to get different students every time so that everybody has an opportunity to be able to enjoy what we have to offer for them. And to also to let them know that their efforts in improving in the areas of academics, behavior, or attendance do not go unnoticed, but we try to reward them so that they can continue doing good. And it's been working. And so that is what we have for you today. Any questions on anything?
Questions, board members?
I would just like to comment, Ms. Bettis, as always, because I'm very familiar with CIS, I thank you all for everything you do for our students and our community. These are wonderful opportunities and experiences for them, so thank you and your staff for everything you guys do, and hopefully there will be a continued partnership for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a good evening.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Agenda item 2.2, review and discussion of the agreement between San Benito CISD and Region 1 ESC Texas Curriculum Management Cooperative, TCMPC, for the 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Servio.
Yes, sir. So I would like Dr. McGee to go ahead and go through that. I don't know if you have Ms. Cornett here that's helping you with it? No? Okay.
Good evening, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Servillon. This is a standard agreement that we, Teach Resource System is the, what we use for our students and staff each year, and it's just a standard, we're doing an agreement each year, so.
Questions, board members? Thank you, Dr. McGee.
Thank you.
Agenda item.
Thank you.
Item 2.3, review and discussion of the interlocal agreement between San Benito CISD and Region 1 ESC Driving Initiative Program. Ms. Servillon.
So with that, I would bring up Mrs. Rivas. Leal, sorry.
Good evening, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, Mrs. Servillon. This is an agreement between us and Region 1 for teen driver education, specifically for children with special needs identified in our 504 program, dyslexia or special education. This gives them an opportunity to do a 32-hour program. It's a platform where they would apply. We would approve it. Of course, we would review all applications, but we would approve it, and it would be at no cost to the student or parent.
This is great. Is this the first year that it's being brought to us?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, board members?
It's on a first-come, first-served basis. It's through a voucher program. It's a grant that Region 1 has, and so I'm going to be advertising and just trying to get as many students as possible. Since this is the first year, I'm not sure. I did, look out, poll our San Benito High School diagnosticians and art administrator to see if the interest would be there. And yes, we have been talking about it in our IEP meetings, and people are interested. So I don't have an exact number yet, but I can definitely get back to you on that.
That's fine, thank you.
And
I was told there was no limit. No limit, great. No limit. But the whole purpose is to bridge that gap between our seniors who are entering either the workforce or going to be headed off to university or college.
the $165 per student on the flyer, that's not,
That's incorrect. I did confirm that I put a 0 there. That is traditionally for outside of school districts, but because this is through a grant, I confirmed it is 0 cost. So I was instructed to put a 0 there on that piece of the MOU.
okay, thank you so much for bringing this to us.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Agenda item. Item 2.4, review and discussion of clinical education affiliation agreement between San Benito CISD and San Valley Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center. Ms. Servillon.
Yes, sir. So with that, I'll bring Mr. Rosa up to walk us through the agreement.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, board members, Board President Moreno and Superintendent Servillon. Again, another MOU or affiliation that we're trying to establish with some of our areas around here for our health science again. We're trying to get as many kids out there to get that hands-on experience before they go out into the real world. It's valuable because they get to stand there with a certified nurse and receive firsthand instruction with the patients and actually go with live patients instead of reading off a card. Well, this patient has this and this and this. No, just in actual patients that are there, and they're conducting a lot of the trainings themselves. So that's another one that we have.
Questions, board members? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item. Item 2.5, review and discussion of the grant award from Project Lead, the Way of Implementation of Biomedical Sciences. Ms. Servillon.
Yes, sir. So with that, I'll call Dr. McGee back up. This is a grant that we recently received and you all approved.
Thank you again, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Servillon. This award is for $14,000 to expand the biomedical science program at Veterans Memorial. It also represents a total investment this year in grants from Project Lead the Way of over $41,000. We also have an an additional $50,000 that we are requesting, so I want to get that number up. And that means savings to the district to expand an essential component of our students' future, which is in the STEM fields. They are ready and welcoming us as a partner with them, and we're excited that they're investing in us so we can invest in our kiddos.
Questions, board members?
Can you remind me again, Dr. McGee, on these Project Lead the Way courses? I know the training is very expensive for this program, so this grant is going to help out quite a bit, especially with this new biomedical science. But are students receiving credit for these courses under STEM?
Yes, at the high school, for each Project Lead the Way course, it actually is embedded, these specific courses are part of the program of study.
Okay.
So they're allowed under the STEM career cluster that we're expanding, and they're awarded 1 high school credit per course.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Doc, I got a question for you. So you were saying that we're gonna get 14,000
Yes.
from, okay, so is that gonna be coming in yearly, or how are we gonna sustain this program moving forward to continue to provide the kids with the same resources that we're giving them right now, but for the future? How are we gonna forecast this whole
Yes.
situation?
What this training does is it allows us to fund the training, which can run up to $3,200. Once that teacher receives that training, they're able to teach the kids, and that training lasts some from 3 to 7 years. And that's where the sustainability comes from. So we don't have to absorb that initial cost, and we're able to continue the program at minimal cost, but we've trained the teachers.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. McGee.
Thank you.
Agenda item. Item 2.6, review and discussion of extension of the proposal for the social service case management program. Ms. Servillon.
Yes, sir. This was under Mr. Eddie Sudis that I don't see him. You'll go ahead and handle it? Okay, Dr. McGee.
Again, thank you, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Servion. This is actually an expansion of the agreement with Community and Schools of Cameron County for the 2023-2024 school year. And it, in addition to their MOU to reflect $268,985, and that also includes, or what it means is about $29,885 per site coordinator. And
Questions,
thank y'all
board
for
members?
everything you do.
No questions?
So this is an increase, and are we getting more sites, or is it at the sites that are already included? Because not all of our schools have CIS.
Based on my understanding, it's at the sites that are already included.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. McGee.
Thank you.
Agenda item. 3.1, committee concerns. Okay. I adjourn this meeting at 5:52 PM.